All right, let's talk exams. Ever look at an answer you've written and think, that's good, but how do I make it perfect? Today, we're going to do exactly that. We're taking a full AQA chemistry question and pulling it apart, piece by piece, to show you how to lock in every single mark. So, what is the secret? What's that special something that takes you from a decent score to walking away with full marks? Well, it's actually simpler than you might think. The key, the absolute secret, is giving the examiner precisely what they're looking for on their mark scheme. Nothing more, nothing less. It's about playing the game.
Okay, so let's get our hands dirty. We're going to use question 2 from this AQA paper as our case study. The whole thing is about water, from making it clean enough to drink to figuring out what to do with it after we've used it.
First up, let's look at producing potable water. Water that's actually safe to drink. This section has two parts to it.
So the first question is a big one. It's worth 4 marks. It's asking you to explain the process. So what does a perfect 4-mark answer actually look like?
And here it is. The perfect answer is a super clear 4-step process. First, you say the water goes through a filter bed. That's 1 mark. The crucial second point is to explain why it does that, to remove the solid bits. Mark 2. Then you state that sterilization happens. Mark 3. And again, you bag that final mark by explaining its purpose, to kill off any nasty microbes. See that pattern? It's the process, then the reason. That's the key to getting all 4 marks. Okay, on to the next part. Now we've got a classic scenario-based question. They're giving us a specific situation, a country with not much rain, a huge coastline, and loads of energy. You have to apply what you know. So what process fits these clues? For that 1 easy mark, the examiner would accept either distillation or reverse osmosis. Think about it. Both of these are ways of getting salt out of seawater, which makes total sense with a long coastline, right? And they both need a lot of energy, which the country has plenty of. The key thing here is, you only need to write down one of them to get the point. Right, we're shifting gears now. We've talked about getting fresh water. Now let's talk about what happens to wastewater after it goes down the plug hole. This question is a matching game. On one side, you've got liquid effluent and solid sewage sludge. On the other, 5 different processes. Your job is to draw 2 correct lines to get the 2 marks. Simple as that. And here's the correct solution. Liquid effluent gets matched up with aerobic biological treatment. That's the one that uses oxygen. And the solid sewage sludge, well, that gets processed using anaerobic digestion, which happens without oxygen. Get those 2 right, and that's 2 more marks in the back. Now for the final part of question 2. We're moving away from pure theory and into data handling. We're given a table, and we've got to interpret it and do some calculations. So here's the data we're going to be working with. Table 1 lays out how the UK got rid of its solid sewage sludge in 2 different years, 1992 and 2010. You can see the mass for different methods, like using it as fertilizer, dumping it in landfill, and just straight up burning it. The first data question is a 3-mark calculation. We need to find the percentage of sludge that was burned back in 2010. And, this is so important, don't miss it, give the answer to 3 significant figures. So, how do you grab all 3 marks? Let's break it down. First, you get a mark for just setting up the calculation correctly. The mass burned, that's 260, divided by the total mass, 1413, and then multiplied by 100. Your second mark is for getting the right answer from your calculator. And that third, final, crucial mark is for rounding that result correctly to 3 significant figures, which gives us 18.4%. Easy. Next up, we need to put on our detective hats. The table shows the total mass of sludge went up. For 1 mark, all we need to do is suggest one reason why this might have happened. What's really great here is that the answer is just common sense, really. The mark scheme gives 2 main answers. You could simply say there was an increase in population. Or you could be a bit more specific and say that more homes were connected to the sewers. Either of these perfectly logical reasons gets you the mark. And here we are, the final part of the question. We're told that using sludge as a fertilizer became way more popular. For 2 marks, we need to suggest 2 different reasons why. And wow, the mock scheme gives you a whole buffet of options here. You could get marks for talking about the benefits, like it contains useful nutrients. You could talk about the bigger picture, it's more sustainable or it's a form of recycling. Or you could flip it and talk about the problems with the other methods, like landfill sites filling up or the fact that burning releases greenhouse gases. Any 2 of these would have scored you full marks. Whew, okay. So let's just take a second to recap what we've seen by taking apart just this one single question about water. To get a perfect score here, you had to be a bit of a jack of all trades, didn't you? You had to clearly explain a scientific process, apply your knowledge to a made-up country, read a data table properly, do a calculation with the right rounding, and then suggest real-world reasons for trends. It just shows how many different skills they can test in one go.
So there you have it. You now know exactly what an examiner is looking for. But this stuff, it goes way beyond the exam hall, doesn't it? The real question is, what other things, economic, political, environmental, are shaping how we manage the future of our water? That's something to think about. Thanks for joining me.